Welcome to the final episode of my Sport Essentials collection. This is for the 5-ball slot. This spot in the bag is usually for your weaker options or for when you're just bowling on dirt, and it's staggered a bit more than the rest as far as hook potentials go, while still covering a couple different shapes. To give you the full effect, I'm also filming on a beaten up 2019 USBC Open Championship singles and doubles pattern. The balls I've selected for this slot are the Highroad Pearl, Hustle Ink, and yes, the Pitch Black. The Highroad Pearl is kind of a sleeper ball. It's odd that the Highroad gets all the attention, but the Pearl has quietly been around for 6 years and is a shockingly good performer itself. I've actually had multiples of it with each hand. It kind of leapt back into the spotlight because of Belmo's heavy use of it at the most recent World Series of Bowling, where the lanes in the bay they used for the finals shows were insanely high friction. The Highroad Pearl with its higher RG and medium strength cover creates a really round and remarkably controllable and consistent shape that in my mind makes it an incredibly good sport option. The rounder, more climbing shape of the Pearl gives it a very effective motion, and because of the longer and weaker nature of the ball, it offset the super early and strong friction of the lanes at the WSOB that was making other stronger balls burn too much energy. This was the ball Belmo won this year's World Championship and a record-setting 11th major with. Lane surface friction is also something I don't think people pay enough attention to. The lane condition or pattern is only one piece of the puzzle. Remember, the two centers I film at actually use the same lane pattern, but ball reaction is quite a bit different because of the lane surface differences. The Highroad Pearl can be great for higher friction lane surfaces and also heavy transition towards the end of the day when you need something to get down the lane above all else and still give you a workable shape. The Hustle Ink is quite possibly the greatest low-end ball of all time. It has more stable and controllable core numbers at 253 RG and 030 diff in 15 pounds, but a weaker polished solid cover on it that makes it a great performer on fresh lighter conditions or beaten up heavier conditions. The core is the biggest story here though. Usually when you get into weaker reactions, you go both weaker on the cover and the core, but the ink has a tour style core with a medium RG and a medium differential, which gives you kind of an average mid-lane read. It's not as early and rolly as something like an IQ, but it's also not as long as a Highroad. It's right in the middle, so you get a nice blend. It'll roll up earlier than the Highroad from deeper angles to help it read properly down lane without having the stronger and heavier roll of an IQ that would make it start up too early. When the Highroad Pearl is going a bit too long or there's not quite the abundance of friction to balance out its natural length, the ink is a slightly weaker reaction but with more help from the core to adjust the shape on a similar line. Matt O'Grady won the 2018 Tournament of Champions by climbing the stepladder with a pair of inks, so like the Highroad Pearl, it's not just a lower-end entry-level ball, it's a serious performance ball built for lighter conditions. Now we move to the Pitch Black, and yes, I actually drilled another one, and no, not just for this video. There have been several tournaments over the last year, including the team set at Nationals, where not having a urethane ball has hurt me significantly. Flatter and or shorter stuff has given me angle nightmares with reactives, and having a urethane ball can be critical in certain situations if you know how to use them. I'm also going to shatter a huge misconception here. Urethane is not for dry lanes. That's right, urethane is a super early and smooth reaction. It's designed for the ultimate amount of control, to get a lot of traction early and keep you in the pocket. This makes it perfect for conditions like the Nationals team pattern where you have a lot of volume up front and super quick back ends. The Pitch Black will get you traction up front in the sludge and blend the back end better than any reactive can. This makes it good for flat patterns and shorter patterns, but not drier patterns. Short and dry aren't the same thing. WTBA Sydney, for example, is a short pattern but not a dry one. At almost 25 mils, that's a lot of volume for 33 feet. Most house shots use 20-ish mils for 40 feet. People try to use urethane on lower volume patterns because it reduces shape, but all I've seen that do is give them over-under issues because while it's smooth down lane, it's also quite a bit earlier, which creates hook too early for you to even see. So perceived physical misses are actually just the ball grabbing when it hits the lane. It can be effective on a lower amount of oil given the right circumstances, but urethane is at its best when used to get early traction and blend wet-dry on heavier volume, shorter to medium patterns. This concludes my Sport Essentials collection, and I have one more small note to add. Most will then add a plastic ball in the 6th spot, which is honestly the most important slot in the bag on tougher conditions, but some people flatten out a reactive ball to throw out their spares. I myself do this, so my 6th ball is actually the ProMotion. This allows me an extra option in the bag just in case. This isn't something I'd recommend to everyone, but it's what I find works best for me. I really hope you've enjoyed this series. Thanks for watching.